Good morning, Felipe. I'm very happy to host you here this morning. I hope you can hear us. Good morning to our YouTube listeners. I would like to open the whiteboard with you and to read the text or to look at this beautiful ornament that we see here. Good morning, Felipe. Do you have a microphone? Can you speak? Hello, hello. Can you hear us, friends? Good morning, Fernando. I hope you have a sound. Can you hear us? Hello, good morning. Yes, you can. Felipe, can you hear us? Yes, thank you. I hope you can join this conversation. I'd love to hear voices. If it's possible, here's Victoria Maya. Good afternoon, Victoria from Germany. Nice to see you here.
Shalom lekulam.
Shalom, shalom. How are you this morning? Good to hear.
Hello.
Hello.
Eti, Felipe, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Do you get a signal from us, Fernando?
Shalom, my friend. I
Shalom.
can hear you.
Very well.
I'm not hearing Eti. I don't know if she's saying something.
Yes, Fernando, do you hear me? Fernando? Hello?
Me neither.
You don't hear?
She's preparing.
Oh, okay. 1 second. If you're on YouTube, 1 second. Hello? Hello, Fernando, Felipe. Can you hear us? Victoria, can you hear us? Hello? And now, Anya, can you... Anaya and Victoria, can you hear us? I just started the system again. Can you have a sound from us? Yes, this morning, because Twitter lost connection. I'll try to lift a connection with Twitter as well. 1 second. I hope you can hear us, because there's a stream at the moment on YouTube. So, Victoria, can you hear? Because I started the streaming again. Yes, everything. But Twitter is not having a connection at the moment. I'll try to establish a connection with Twitter as well. 1 second until the system will boot. It will take 1 second. I'll try to lift the conversation again on Twitter. A second. Good morning, Fernando. Good morning, Felipe. Can you have a voice connection?
Shalom, Eti.
Good to hear you. I hope you can hear us as well. I try to lift the conversation.
Now I can hear you. I can hear you well. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom,
Hello.
shalom. Shalom, Felipe. Good morning.
Good morning, good evening, Eti. Shalom. I can hear you as well.
I'm very happy.
Hello, Jill.
Hello, Jill. Good morning. Nice to hear you. Nice to see your avatar here. Very, very nice. Jill.
Shalom, Jill.
Good morning. Good morning to the friends on YouTube. Thank you for your patience until all connections are established. And do you have questions that you would like to ask before we start with Mount Moriah or Moriah? Do you have any question, or you would like to share a memory or something that you had a moment that you'd like to share with us before we start?
I was just reading the text you've put in the concept board, and it's a beautiful part of the Torah, and I just looking forward to see what you prepared, Eti. Although I already have something that we've talked in other sessions about God will provide and Abraham's fear of God, which they are with the same letters, both words. And this is a very interesting topic to me, so dear to me, and I think we will talk more about it.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to open the concept board. I see that you're already here. Nice to see you here. Makes me happy. And here Victoria is writing, after watching these lessons, I always feel Hebrew, loving it. I asked my mother if there are Hebrew genes in us, but there is no such information. I love today's topic. Thank you, Victoria, for sharing your thoughts and conversations. Before we start, first I would like to ask you, I would like to hear your impression. Would you like here first read the text or looking at an ornament? This is the question that I would like to ask you. Also, people on YouTube, what would you like to start with? With the text or with an ornament, with impression of art? What would you like to start with? Everybody can say what he wishes or she wishes. It's open. Please feel free.
I'd like to start with the crown.
With a crown, yes. I found this this morning on Google Museum. I would like to share with you. This is, since it's a Google Museum, I could not enlarge it enough because it's like they have like some kinds of rights. I just managed to snip it, and if you want you can go into Google Museum and have the original, and you can enlarge and scope inside. You can sink deeply into this beautiful ornament. This is the crown. I'll make it bigger as possible. This is a crown of the Torah. The Torah is basically a book. What is the Torah? The 5 books of Moses. The 5 books of Moses are named in Hebrew Torah. Torah in Hebrew is a feminine. And the Torah is kept. She is like covered with a dressing. And on top of the dressing, it's like the Torah is written on a paper or special skin of a deer. And it is kept on two rolls, and it's closed usually, and it has a dressing, and upon its dressing there is a crown. This is the crown that we see now here in front of us on the concept board. This is the crown of the Torah. Keter Torah. Keter Torah, the crown of the Torah. This crown was made in Galicia. Galicia is a county which now in our times is under Poland. And I took a little, detail from the crown. I enlarge it for us to learn before we shall read the text about Mount Moriah. So we shall move a bit to the left. I hear we have another listener. Charles is here. Good afternoon, Charles. I will move a bit left to the concept board and see one detail that I would like to share with you. And please, everybody, feel free to participate. YouTube people as well. What do we see here? Please share with us your thoughts, people who watch the channel in YouTube and those who are listening and see the concept board. Try to look. This is a crown which is made from silver. Do you identify here a figure or event in this? This is one detail which is printed or made from silver. This is one detail from the crown of the Torah. Do you recognize a scene here, major scene in the
Yes.
silver?
Yeah.
What do you recognize?
We can see the sacrifice of Isaac, and we can see Abraham, we can see an angel, we can see Isaac tied up, and we can see the ram, we can see the goat.
Excellent.
This
So-
is the scene.
Yes, this is the scene. This is Abraham. Yes. This is his arm. Probably this is the knife. This is the angel. The left, is it the left side of Abraham, the palm of Abraham holding Isaac's head, while Isaac is being put on something like an altar which has squares pattern, and his arms and his knees are ringed or tied in one bond. Two hands or arms and two legs are, which is four, are binded in one ring or one tied, while his head is on his father Abraham left palm, while the ram is here. What is the relation that we see? How many figures do we see? Please count the details in this picture. It's not random. Before we move to the text, because the text is also preparing us a surprise.
We see these four elements, I guess.
Yes.
And it's interesting because it's like the animal, then the child or the young man, then the old man, and then the angel. It's like a scale of humanity. First animal to reach the angelical realm.
So you say this is like different manifestation of the human spirit, first like the animal part, and then the child or a boy or a juvenile and a man, and the transcended, when the spirit transcends is the angel. This is what you see? This is what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. More impressions that you would like to share with us before we move to the text?
Eti,
Yes.
I really liked this insight that Felipe brought to us, because we can relate it with the different parts of our soul, you know, like the animal is nefesh, the boy is ruach, maybe, the
Yes.
zakan, the old man, is neshama,
Mm-hmm.
and the angel could be Haya, maybe,
Yes.
that is only for the prophets and for the. So it was a great insight, my friend. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you don't have other insights or comments that you like or impressions to share with us, I would like to move with you to the text. And first, I would like to read it in English and then in Hebrew. Jill, or anybody, would you like first to read it in English, and then, if possible, Charles, if Charles has microphone, we can read it in Hebrew. So, Genesis 22, who would like to start reading, please, in English?
I can read.
Thank you, Jill, so much.
Hello, Etty. Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
good morning, I missed you all.
Hello, Jill. Hello.
I'm sorry. I was like distracted. I couldn't get on my computer and I couldn't get on the call. I was like in limbo for a minute, so I'm happy I'm here. Okay, I'll read. And it came to pass after these things that God did prove Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. And he said, Now take now thy son, thy only son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And Abraham rose early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and he cleaved the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder, and we will worship and come back to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took in his hand the fire and the knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spoke unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, God will provide himself the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built the altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou art a God-fearing man, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Adonai-Jerah, as it is said to this day, in the mount where the Lord is seen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Charles, do you have a microphone? Can you read in Hebrew?
Shalom, Eti. Shalom, everyone. Today I cannot read. I'm actually driving, so I'm just listening. Say Fernando can take over.
So, Fernando, just one verse in Hebrew, if possible. Verse 11.
Okay.
Verse 11,
let's
Yod
try it.
Aleph. Just this, because there's a little secret I'd like to share with all of you.
Okay. Verse 11. Vaikra Eliu Meleach Adonai Min hashamayim vayomer Avraham vayomer hineni.
Excellent. Now, a question to all of us. Why does the angel of the Lord, call him twice? Abraham, Abraham, Avraham, Avraham. What is the secret? Who would like to take the first direction of thinking? Why does the angel turns to him twice? Abraham, Abraham. Why is that so? Who would like to start thinking or take the chance or the direction? Why twice? Do you remember what the name Abraham in Hebrew represent? Slowly, slowly. Before I write, or I can write and then we can sing together. Okay? Let's do it. Abraham, Abraham. This is a thick pen and it will not fit. I have to take a sinner. Where are you, pen? Where are you? Here. Abraham, Abraham. Avraham, Avraham. Do you remember the value of Abraham? Let's do it. 200, 5, and 40. Together we have 248. Is that right?
Yes.
So what happens when the angel uses his name twice? Avraham, Avraham. And I will write here in English to make it easier. Abraham, 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 Abraham. And then we have here twice, 248. What happens when we sum up those sums? What do we get? 6. Yes, and we remember 1. This is 9. Is that so? And 400, please pay attention, 496. When we look at this number, to which number is it close in terms of a round full number? This number, 496. To which number it is close? A full round number.
500.
500. And what do we need to give him the, what do we need to add to him, to this number to get the 500?
4.
4, the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton. Very good. This is Abraham, Abraham. I make this in English. Abraham, Abraham. Plus the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton here. And then we get 500. Now, what does the 500 symbolize?
The tree of life.
The tree of life. Very good.
The potential.
The potential, the tree of life, the temple. Very good, very good. I go back always to this Pythagoras, because thing sits on this relation. And like you say, this is the potential, this is the tree of life, and this is also the, how do you say, the measure of the temple. 500 here. Yes, you said tree of life. Very good, because you remember the course of tree of life. One legend says that the course of the tree of life is what? 500 years. This is not years, calendaric years. This is an image. 500 is the full hand perspective of the. Does it make any sense? Because we move from 500 to 500 years to the tree of life, but all of them have something in common. Do you see this? or is it hard to conceive?
It is beautiful. Yes.
So, if we take the name Abraham, Abraham twice, plus the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton, we arrive at the perspective of the temple. And in this place where Abraham sacrificed his son, the temple later was built in. But now I would like to go with you to a more inner perspective. Yes, the value of Abraham is 248 in numbers. But you remember which word in Hebrew also has the value of 248? It is mercy. Mercy, O womb.
Rechem.
Rechem,
Yes.
very good. Womb, which is also in this case is a noun, but is also a verb. As a verb, it means to mercy. Now, instead, try to install, instead of Abraham, try to put the verb mercy, mercy. When we have mercy in the mind and mercy in our heart, in this place the letters of the Tetragrammaton, they appear, and there's a temple. The temple is not how do you say, is geographical space. Do we understand this? In every moment that there is mercy in the mind and mercy in the heart, like Abraham in the mind and Abraham in the heart, the letters themselves are coming, and then in this moment a temple is being built in our heart. Is that clear?
Yes, could you open a little bit wider this idea of the sacrifice and to open the temple inside to obtain mercy? Because it seemed, just to point what came to my mind.
Yes.
Because it seems that the sacrifice, the Olot, or the sacrifice of Isaac, Isaac is related with the Geburah, with the left side of the tree of life, and Abraham have to make this sacrifice in the left side to obtain Rechem, that is related with the central pillar, or with Chesed. It's I don't know if you could relate it with the tree of life. It's not so clear to me.
You want, okay, maybe I shall make a little drawing of the 10 spheres and it will help. Yes? You're asking why, if I understand well, why the right side, Abraham, because there is, if this is the question, please correct me that I could align myself with your thoughts, okay? Please help me if I'm in the direction of your thinking. If not, I will align myself with your thinking. Okay? So, second, Abraham is like grace, chesed. This is Abraham, Avraham, in the right side of the tree of life. This is the right side. The right side. Isaac, Yitzchak, Gevurah. Yitzchak is in the left side. This is the left side. Now, you are asking why Abraham was asked to sacrifice or to bind Isaac. In a way, this is a symbolic action to put together the left side, because the left side of the tree of life also continues. 1 second. Even here, yes, we continue. Here we have the rest of the spheres. 1 second. Yes, here, this is Tiferet. This is Jacob. I will explain all of this thinking. Here we have Netzach, Hod, Yesod, foundation, and Malchut. Now your question says, why does the father have to sacrifice his son? But it's not about father and son so much. It's about how the right side in the tree of life, here it is, make it in another color. We have like here the right side. This is the right side. Above this there is wisdom, but we are just focusing. And here we have like the left side, just to make it. But in a way, those are parallel lines. Only grace alone is a line, or the right side by itself is like one edge, and the left is also one edge. In order that everything will have a middle line, the grace need to include the overcoming. He needs to include himself. Not grace alone is governing in the world. You remember the story of the book of Zohar, that the world could not exist because if there's no turning, grace does not recognize Gevurah, the overcoming, or Gevurah does not recognize grace, nothing can stand. It's like every individual has its own life or its quality by itself. Each quality has to include from the other quality, and then we have like a community. So Abraham, by binding Isaac, he is relating to the left line, and he brings them together. Once he comes to the Mount Moriah and there's a unification of qualities, the grace comes with Gevurah, then the third line could be born. And basically the binding of Isaac is the establishing already the birth of Jacob. Tiferet, the heart. Grace alone. On grace alone, the world cannot exist. On the other hand, on overcoming alone, the world cannot exist. Only if we have a merge between those two qualities, the world can exist, and there's a heart. And those two qualities are coming together in a man's heart. And also in his mind of understanding, because we have three kinds of mind. But it is very important to bind Isaac, because Isaac in a way does not have a life of its own. His life are being inspired by grace, or coming from grace. This is why the Bible says, Ele toldot, those are the generations. Yitzchak ben Avraham, Isaac the son of Abraham. Avraham holid et Yitzchak. Abraham gave birth to Isaac, meaning, and people ask, it's not enough to say this is the generation of Isaac, Ele toldot Yitzchak, the son of Abraham. You have to repeat opposite. Isaac is the son of Abraham. Why to repeat? And it's not about the father and the son. It's to tell us that the Gevurah, the overcoming, the 200 of 16, and this is it, the 200 of 16, in a way, is the son of grace. Grace is 72. And only This is why the verse repeats. And only when those two qualities are living together, and I'll put those sums together, 216 plus 72, what do we have? 288. This is flower, perach or rapach, 288 sparks. When we divide the 288 into 2, what do we get? 144 Adam. Do we understand why it is so important to bind Isaac, not just as a plastic image of a boy? We speak about qualities. Do we understand this? In order that who will be born? Jacob.
It is amazing. It's beautiful. And I'm just wondering about our lives, what Isaac could represent, like our the things that we built in the world, maybe the things that we conquer in the world, and time to time is needed to sacrifice it, to bind it to the one. Maybe I'm just wondering here.
In the name of Isaac, or Isaac in a way, let's move here to this one detail from the crown of the Torah, and we can see how the artist really, he managed to manifest all of this. Look here. Maybe I'll take a color and paint it a bit, that we could focus on the binding. How the artist here took this piece of fabric or ring, and you see this ring, one ring of grace. We see only part, the frontal part of the ring or of the ribbon or of the binding. We see just the front, but there's basically a ring. We see only the front. The ring always, or the zero, comes how do you say, to notify us about grace. We have 1 and 0, and in a way 1 is like a person with an ego. I'm conquering, I'm having a business, I'm someone, I have food in the world, I'm owning houses, I'm owning cars, and so and so. So it's very important that the sense of Isaac, or the sense of Isaac in us, has in a way limitation, and the binding says you are bound to grace. You don't have a life of your own. Humans, look at us now in Corona times. We think, well, we with science, with data, with all kinds of farming information and farming spaceship, we are owning of this planet. And no, we are just sons to the infinite. We don't have a life of our own. We were given a gift, a life spent on this planet here, but it's not that it's our own. We are submitted to a higher power than ourselves. This is in a way also, look at the palm, the left, this is the left palm of Abraham. A palm, if we put our palm wide open with the fingers, it's like a plate. It's a round thing. So again, we have like grace in a way here, the palm when it's open, and the shape, the skull, the head is also round, you see? And the ring that binds Isaac, also round. We think that if we walk on the street and we have the sense of the body, this is arms, and I wear a jacket and I walk and I drive and I ride and I'm in charge. Yeah, but we are given all of these qualities. They are not ours. Those qualities are borrowed. This body is borrowed. Our life here are borrowed. To what? To the infinite grace. So the sense of my own power that the Isaac has in us, in a way, supposed to be cut by grace. Grace says it's not your own power. You are getting your liveliness from me, from an infinite grace. Why do we say grace in English next to the table? Say grace before. This is infinite power. And if you have, if you think that you have a life of your own, I'm cutting this thought, this understanding that you have a life of your own. And it's not so much about the personal issues between father and son. This is very, very important to understand. It's about qualities. And the book of Zohar brings it beautifully, because it is about qualities, to bring the sense of completion. Because in Abraham we are starting to correct Adam's falling from the tree of life. We are starting to correct. This is why Abraham is 10 and 9 times tetragrammaton, and Isaac is 8, and so on, until we reach Jacob, which is 7 times. But in order that Jacob could come to the world, we need to establish like a middle line. This is it. This is why 288, which is the sum of grace and overcoming, 288 divided into 2, it's 144 Adam and Emet. And Emet, truth. And the Bible says, Titen Emet LeYaakov. Give truth to Jacob, because Jacob is correction also of Adam. Is it clear now? Did I help in some aspect, or?
Yes, it's amazing. And I thank you so much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Questions?
I was just thinking about this relation about 2 times 144.
Yes.
And there's a couple of things, but in Hesed we have 72,
Mm-hmm.
Geburah 216.
Yes.
And it's like 72 is like a quarter of the sum of those 2 spheres.
Yes.
Like it's Geburah is 3 times Chesed, right?
Yes.
And I was just thinking of if we have like if we could represent our life in the tree of life, do we have to put 3 times the overcoming in and one part of Chesed? Could you understand it? It's like we need more Geburah than Hesed. It's or I was just thinking about this it's interesting because it is a full relation, and I don't know, it's just some thoughts that could pop up.
Thank you. We can also look at, in this case, Chesed and Chochmah. In a way, Chesed is 72, grace is 72. But we can look at it also the relation of the letter Yod, the potential, and the letter He. The letter He, in a way, takes the potential and has 3 lines. The book of Zohar says the letter He has 3 lines. like it has balance, it has like width, it has length, and it has depth. It means already here the letter He is a corrected situation. The letter He, because the letter He, like the sphere of Binah, she just wants to benefit and bestow. She doesn't want to have delight for herself. She just wants to do good. This is the quality also of the mother. When the father, in a way, I just make it a bit plastic. The father brings the celery, but the mother, or the father bring the potential, but the womb of the mother develop the potential to different organs, and from this will come up a baby. So this is something that happens naturally. Not that we have to calculate that the Gevurah or Binah, because both Gevurah and Binah understanding, they are on the left line of the tree of life. So it's not something that we need to calculate. This is how it is. There is a correction. There is a correction that before, maybe you have read this in Vinery books, before this world was created, there were many worlds before it, proceeding before our world, but they could not exist because the spheres did not turn to each other. They could not include one from another, and everything was collapsing until this our world was created, and it could stand because there was mercy. What is mercy? A third line. Third line always includes two opposites. And this is also why our world can stand, because the binding of Isaac. What does it mean? It's not about a person who was binded 5,000 years before our time, because the left line, our tendency to suck from the world infinitely, is being stopped, is being binded to the one. There is a stopper on our ability to suck and to consume infinitely. And by limiting this tendency, which is how do you say, is something that comes with us as we are born here, and this tendency is being stopped or binded, and by limiting our action in the world, it lengthens our life here. Also, we can look at the Korah as binding of Isaac. We are children of men, and cause like wise advice, bind yourself, restrict yourself for a while, rest for a while, in order that you continue, but in a good way. I limit you for 24 months, that you could be born as a new human, for your own good. I don't need this, but you need this. Questions?
Thank you, Eti.
You're welcome. It's like a child. Children, they like to eat sweets, chocolates and candies. They like everything runs on sugar. The brain gets sugar. They get evoked, they're awake. If they will eat every day or 3 meals with chocolate, they will not develop to be healthy children. So there are meals that they eat, fruits and other things and vegetables and what they need, and sometimes give them chocolate, but chocolate is not the main thing. Yes, it is good for us to not to consume so much, and this is what the binding of Isaac comes to tell us. if you want to laugh, and the meaning of Isaac is to he shall laugh. When shall we laugh? When we have a deeper perspective, when we look from the infinite to life here, which are limited in time and space, we shall laugh. But we need first to have this perspective. In order to have this perspective, we need to be binded. Only when our organs, in a way, our action in the world is limited, we can retreat inside and see the depths which is waiting for us. Because we think usually like a child, this is our body, it's my bicycle, it's my house, my garden, this is it, it's arm and legs. No, 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 this is a plastic clay doll. Inside the clay doll, the plastic image, there's a spirit, and the spirit is who we are. Not the hands and the feet. This is why they are binded. It's not who you are. Because even if we take it literally and we bind organs, legs and arms, still there's a breath, air inside. Person can still speak. So in a way, the binding of Isaac is also a correction of Cain. There is a beautiful podcast which I did about it. This is a correction of Cain.
And Cain shouldn't be killed as well, just as Isaac, right?
In a way, if there is a binding of Isaac, Cain does not have to be killed after 7 generations. Yes, yes. If there's a limitation of this quality to expand in the world, yes, this is the correction. Yes, definitely, Felipe. Beautiful.
Eti,
Yes.
Eti,
Yes. Yes.
just to share one interesting idea. You know, I like very much the Jungian approach, the approach from Carl Gustav Jung. And we have an author that is Robert Johnson. He is a Jungian analyst. And he sustained that to make the individuation, to make the, let's say, to build the tree of life inside of us, and to correct these 2 poles of attitudes, we need a sacrifice. It is very interesting because he speaks that when we walk in the world only with the rational mind, only looking for an objective, only looking for goals, let's say, what we see is what we get, you would say. We forget about our other part that do not need goals, that it's living in the darkness, is living in the silence, and is the unconscious, right?
Yes.
Is the unknown. So he speaks that times to times you have to listen to this calling, like Abraham just did, listening to the angel, and you need to perform a sacrifice. It just, of course, he's not speaking a sacrifice like killing an animal or something, but to make something in the world that is showing that you listen to the unconscious, like to make a good deed, to give something very special to another person, not expecting anything in return, to give to somebody that you don't know something, or to make a dinner for somebody, only to make it. I'm just pointing some examples, but I find that it's beautiful because it's just what you are saying. Stop thinking that you have a goal and make something that is completely different from a goal, from an objective.
Yes. Thank you so much. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. The word it's very good that you mentioned the word sacrifice. I would like to write it. Korban. Korban is sacrifice. It also means to get closer. להתקרב, to get closer. Kar. Korban. Ban is also like sun. Ben, meaning to bring closer the sun, but not just the sun in terms of biologically birth, right? I mean, a descendant. Ban or Ben has the value of 52. 52 is the number of the weeks that we have in a solar year, meaning this is basically the number of time, the weeks that we have per year. We have 52 weeks. So bring the time as a sacrifice. Bring your experience as get closer by your experience, because it's not your experience. Give what you have accumulated as experience and bring it, because it's not yours. This is why I also share those conversations with you without going to details. We're sharing like episodes from life, and now for us it doesn't matter who has this experience, but once we share this moment with another person, we come closer. For it doesn't matter who has this experience. One human being has this experience. It's a human experience, and the more we share those moments with friends, we understand that it's not like something very, very unique and mine, because I'm a fellow human being. And the more we share those moments of truth, we understand we are one human. So by sharing those moments, this is how we get closer. In a way, it's sacrifice, because we understand it's not my own thing. Some people sit on their experiences, say, this is my experience, this is who I am, I had this dream, I had this experience. The experience, in a way, consume a person, and he forgets that he has a soul. This is why we always share those moments with friends, in a way to empty our vessels, not to think that I am any person, that he is who he is his experience. We are not our experience. We have different experiences, or we share a certain experience or impressions, but this is not who we are. It's very important, and the more we share this experience and we bring it together like a sacrifice, those moments that we share, somebody has a dream, somebody has experience, we bring it, and we are empties our pockets from our holdings, like people holds their experience like it was a stock in the market. They don't release holding on their experience. Release it, share this experience, share the moment, empty your pockets, empty your hands, and stream empty to the infinite. Only in this way we can live without having grudge, without having a fossil heart and fossil mind, because people hold the experience like it was a golden calf. They would not release it. They say this is what determines their personality, and personality is also a costume. This is what I would like to share with you about the word sacrifice.
It is amazing. It's amazing, and it's, yeah. I just want to thank you so much. It's really, we really feel it. You know, it's not a theory. That we know when we start to think like this, and you do not personalize the happenings, you feel free. And I thank you so much. It's so good to be among friends and brothers and sisters. So just to thank you for streaming this life, you know.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming here, for sharing those moments with us, with friends, over the net, over the world. I would like to thank you for a beautiful week together, and maybe we could come together on Saturday. She'll send us a little note. And until then, I would like to greet you with a beautiful weekend and Shabbat Shalom and beautiful, beautiful and marvelous life.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. God bless you. See you.
Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, friends on YouTube. Thank you, Anaya, and thank you, Victoria Maya.